thousands of people have mysteriously vanished in America's wilderness. Join us as we dive into the deep end of the unexplainable and try to piece together what happened. You are listening to Locations Unknown.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Locations Unknown. I'm your co-host, Joe Erado, and with me, as always, is the guy who came up with the phrase lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, Mike Vandebogart.
Oh, thank you, Joe, and thank you once again to all of our amazing listeners for tuning in. Just a few announcements before we get going. So first, we'd like to give some new Patreon shout-outs to Danny Swales, Kelsey Eschencamper, Nicole Gagnon, and Holly Trucht.
Sometimes I think people just make up names because they know we're not going to pronounce them
They
right.
might, and it's a funny thing to do if you're listening.
Eschencamper.
Eschencamper.
I feel like you said it right.
I think I did.
I think you did.
So thank you so much for supporting the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All the stuff we have now is a lot of it's because of the support from you guys, so we can't thank you enough. You want to call the show, you can call 208-391-6913. Leave a funny voicemail. We're doing a Patreon episode after this. Maybe we'll pull up a few voicemails. We're going to talk.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we have I can't reveal too much, but we might have a Gwen 2.0 case.
Ooh.
It won't probably...
We're going to keep this one close to the chest so some certain podcasts don't take it from us right away.
Yeah. We actually have to do a lot of investigation on it and research. But in about 3 years expected on you know whose show.
Yeah. So we're gonna tell our patrons about it. They're gonna get a little bit more details.
A
not
little
the full
more.
Deal. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want
to,
you're gonna have to go get a subscription to find out.
And
what we're talking
in this
about.
case, the person reached out to us about it after hearing the Gwen case. So very interesting. A lot of similarities, I have to say. It's a little fishy.
All right. Well, there we go. That's one hell of a seed you just planted.
Yes. Also, we've got some cool podcasts on our network. You know the main ones, Off the Trails, Who Runs This Park, Crime Off the Grid. We have a new one, Hike and Seek. Pretty cool. They go around the country hiking. It's they're married, husband and wife?
No, they're not married.
Married.
They're dating.
Dating.
You know how they met each other?
How?
Through our show.
Oh, really?
Like shared interest in our show.
Interesting.
Because Kelly was like kind of influencing on our behalf, and they connected. And so if they get married, we're going to get invited to the wedding.
Oh, interesting.
At least I told them that they better.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, so that I did not know that. That's pretty cool. And we have another podcast, Relish.
Relish.
Second time I've done that. It's like the topping for hot dogs. Relish.
Yes. It's just like relish for hot dogs. That's exactly what it's. It's a hot dog podcast.
It's a hot dog podcast.
No, it's not. It's a wellness podcast.
Joey, what's the hot dog eater? Joey Chestnut.
He's
the
world champion.
He's not hosting it.
No.
Also, I want to again thank our listeners. We just got our Spotify Wrapped, and we found out we were the most
best in the world.
Yeah. One of the most shared podcasts, one of the most commented on podcasts, and our listeners listened to more of our podcasts than 99% of the other shows on Spotify for all three of those categories. So,
and is that like all podcasts?
All podcasts on Spotify. So
all
it
right.
doesn't count.
Not just our category, just every
99% of all podcasts.
Oh, that's awesome.
That doesn't count Apple that's just Spotify.
That's just Spotify. But still, that's cool.
Spotify now is our biggest host.
So who's in front of us? Like Joe Rogan and like nobody else, right?
Crime junkie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're getting sued into oblivion right now.
So
for all of their malpractice.
I mean, I don't know they don't publish, like there's not a list.
I know. I'm just trying to make it sound better than who we are.
Probably everyone on like the top 100.
Yeah.
So, but either way,
that's awesome.
Those are all engagement awards. So it just goes to show that everyone listening really enjoys the show and engages with the show. So thank you so much for that.
We appreciate all of you. Thank you. That's so cool.
Any updates for you?
No updates.
You never have updates.
I mean, I just like doing color commentary on whatever you're saying.
You're the Joe Buck.
Yeah, exactly.
Or no, he's not the color commentator.
I don't know who I am. I don't watch sports.
The Troy Aikman.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, let's gear up and get out to explore locations unknown. October 30th, 2022. A 35-year-old counselor sets out alone in the storm-soaked rainforests of Olympic National Park. As an experienced hiker with survival training, she planned a multi-day trek into the remote backcountry. But as a powerful Pacific storm hammered the valley with freezing rain and rising rivers, she never returned. Despite an intensive multi-agency search, no trace of her has ever been found. Join us this week as we investigate the mysterious disappearance of Laura Macke. So this episode is taking us all the way over to Olympic National Park.
You were just there.
I was just there. It's so beautiful. That was the first time I've been to that area of the nation. So we're going to specifically the Quinault Rainforest region. So that's Southwest Olympic Peninsula. One of the park's three major rainforest systems, along with the Hoh and the Keats area. So I was also in the Hoh Rainforest. It's just as beautiful also.
It's Quinault.
Quinault. This is how Midwesterners say it.
Yeah. That's
just our accent. So East Fork Quinault. How'd you say it now? Quinault?
It's Quinault.
Quinault.
Like
okay.
Kwee.
Quinault. River Valley. Laura's planned route was entirely within this valley system. So the East Fork Quinault River Trail Corridor, this is the trail she had the permit for and is presumed to have entered on October 30th. Some of the key locations are the Graves Creek Trailhead, the Pony Bridge area, the O'Neill Creek area, Pirates Creek. Pirates Creek, like Pirate Rock.
Not R.
Not pirate. Jeez, now I can't say it. I'm like turning into you.
Yeah, you are.
That was her planned camping location. Fire Creek area, Enchanted Valley. That was her destination area. This is in Washington State. It was established in 1938 and sees roughly 2.9 to 3.7 million visitors annually. Just some interesting facts about Olympic National Park. Olympic protects coastlines, temperate rainforests, lowlands and montane forests, subalpine meadows, alpine peaks, and glaciers, all within roughly 1 million acres. So you get a little taste of everything when you're there.
Correction, I was wrong. It's Pirates.
All right.
Just trying to get the spelling correct.
That's all right. I like making people upset. We're just going to go that one lady on Spotify just commenting. She's probably why we had all the comments.
She's mad about our
yeah, but she doesn't realize it helped us in the charts.
Pronunciation. I bet that when I said tortillas, that really got her.
That one, hopefully they understand you're doing that on purpose.
We had someone comment that lives in Mexico that said they were cracking up laughing.
Perfect. That's like what we're hoping.
Yes.
Tortillas. So some of the last great old growth temperate rainforests on Earth are right in Olympic. So the rainforests of Olympic are among the largest intact old growth forests remaining in the lower 48 states. The park is home to 1,200 native plant, 300 bird species, 56 mammal species, and 37 native fish species, plus reptiles, amphibians, marine mammals, and more. It really is such a beautiful, diverse place. If I ever went back to someplace again, that'd be the first place I would go back to.
Yeah, you would have. When I was there, we did the hike along the coast. If you didn't do that, I
didn't do that, so I would go back and do that.
You can camp right on the beach too.
Ooh, I would like that.
Mm-hmm.
It also supports endemic species found nowhere else on Earth thanks to its isolation, climate gradients, and varied terrain. The park includes 73 miles of wild wilderness coastline, complete with beaches, tide pools, sea stacks, and coastal rainforest. It also includes 32 named glaciers and rugged alpine terrain. That means one protected area preserves functioning ecosystems from saltwater tide pools up through rainforest to snow-covered peaks, a rare trophy for conservation. Some of the largest coniferous trees in the world live here. For example, one Sitka spruce in the Quinault area is documented champion tree. The forest includes multiple species that grow tall and wide: Douglas firs, western red cedar, western hemlock, Sitka spruce, and more, some reaching heights of 250 to 300 plus feet. I think, was I sharing pictures when I was up there on the site? Because I shared some pictures of them, but much like anybody who's ever gone hiking and you see something amazing, you take a picture and it's like, you like can't see it.
Yeah. It doesn't do it justice.
It never does.
A picture is not going to do a 300-foot tree justice.
It never does, even if you're doing 0.5. It doesn't matter. It just makes you look ridiculous next to the tree.
You know what, though? The picture is just there to stir up the memory of when you were there.
Absolutely. A little bit about the climate. The area where Laura went missing is among the wettest, densest temperate rainforests in the continental U.S., with annual rainfall measured in feet, not inches. So autumn marks a dangerous transitional weather period with rising storms, cold snaps, increasing water levels, and difficult terrain. The environmental conditions alone are enough to make a short backpacking trip hazardous, especially in a storm and especially for solo hikers.
How was the weather when you were there?
It was perfect.
Yeah, same
absolutely
when I was
perfect.
there.
Actually, you know what? They hadn't had a ton of rain yet, so it wasn't as lush as they say, and it was still beautiful. Everyone was saying like, "Oh, it's usually more green and lush," and I'm walking around like looking at all this, like, it looked so beautiful, and they're like, "Oh, it's usually better," so I have to go back.
Yeah.
This side of Olympic National Park is part of the temperate rainforest. Annual precipitation is extremely high, 12 to 14 feet of rain per year. In general, in the low elevation forested areas like the Quinault Lake Valley bottoms, temperatures are moderate, winters are cool, but seldom far below freezing, and summers are mild. According to the climate data overview for Olympic National Park, average daily highs range across the year, while summers see warmer, drier conditions. During fall and winter, the region becomes very wet and cold. So summer, roughly June to August, is the driest and mildest period. Daytime temperatures fairly pleasant, rainfall far reduced. Rainy and wet season is roughly October to April. This is where you're going to get your frequent heavy rainfall, storms from the Pacific, rising river and stream levels, saturated soil, possibly early snowfall at higher elevations. In autumn, this is when Laura disappeared. Late October marks the onset of the rainy season. This means increased storms, substantial rainfall, and rising risk of snow at cold at elevations. Given the amount of rainfall, the forest environment is very dense and lush. Large coniferous trees, thick underbrush, abundant mosses, ferns, a classic rainforest canopy and understory that makes the forest dark, slick, and challenging for navigation or visibility. Even when not raining heavily, humidity, dampness, and persistent wetness on logs, rocks, moss, leaf litter make footing treacherous and make dry shelter or fire hard to establish. So a little more about the terrain. The landscape is shaped by deep river valleys carved between steep forested slopes. Trails often follow these valleys, running close to fast-moving rivers and numerous smaller creeks. Frequent rainstorms swell rivers and side streams, turning gentle crossings into powerful cold torrents. Slippery banks, undercut edges, and log jams can make water features hazardous, even for experienced hikers. Moss-coated logs, slick roots, and soft ground increase the risk of slips and falls, and navigating off trail is extremely difficult due to the thick brush, fallen trees, and uneven footing. Even during the day, the rainforest can feel dim, making depth perception and wayfinding harder. Once off the main tread, a person can become nearly impossible to spot from just a few yards away. Long, gradual climbs and descents wear hikers down, especially under pack weight and in poor weather. Wet clothing and cold temperatures increase fatigue. Once away from the trailhead, there are no roads, shortcut exits, or easy bailout routes. Rescue requires hiking in, often over the same rugged ground, and weather can ground aircraft. Dense forest cover can hide bright clothing or large objects. Sound does not carry as far either. A person who becomes injured in just a short distance off the trail may not be visible to search teams or helicopters. So it is that lush and thick.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still fresh in your mind. You were just there.
Yeah, and we didn't do any backcountry. So we were on a lot of the trails that are more heavily hiked. We did some trails that are deeper that took longer.
Yeah.
And even though they were easily marked, like it was you felt like you were alone because it's so thick. There are tons of people on the trail, but as long as you're not next to them, you kind of feel like you're out there by yourself.
Yeah.
Great for hiking, but not if you get lost.
When we did our hike along the coast, I don't remember seeing anyone.
It's
while we were out there.
It's just, it's just hard to see anything that unless you're on a straight line or something like that. So
it's cool.
Some of the animals you could encounter, the American black bear, are very common in the area and the Enchanted Valley region, often seen near rivers, berry patches, and meadows. Not typically aggressive, but a major presence hikers must be aware of. There's Roosevelt elk, one of the largest elk subspecies in North America, frequently seen in the river valleys and meadows. Bulls can be aggressive during the rut. Black-tailed deer, very common throughout the lowlands, often encountered on trails and around campsites. And then you'll have cougars, mountain lions, and coyotes. Hazards she would have faced at the time of year in the park: severe rain and storm conditions. So late October is the start of the heavy rain season, as we said. Sudden intense rainstorms, rapid terrain saturation, slick roots, rocks, and logs, trails turning to mud channels, reduced visibility under the dense canopy, and higher likelihood of slips, falls, and injuries. So a single slip in this environment can immobilize a hiker, and in cold, wet conditions, immobility becomes very life-threatening. Why? Hypothermia risk. Temperatures in this period can often sit near freezing at night in the rainforest and below freezing at moderate elevations. And you don't have to be near freezing to get hypothermia. It just has to be cold and nighttime and not have a good cover. And if you're soaking wet, you're going to lose heat.
Yep.
On top of all that, rivers and creek hazards. The East Fork Quinault River and many tributaries can rise dramatically after storms. Falling into the river or creek can be fatal, drowning, trauma, or, again, hypothermia. And then, as we said before, if you step off trail, you can become invisible to both hikers and SAR teams. There are also tons of steep slopes, hidden drop-offs, and uneven ground. Witnessed that a lot on some of the trails where it seems very grassed or heavily forested. It's actually just a little bit of like plant canopy, and if you step there, you're going to fall.
Yeah.
So a lot of risks that are really covered by all the canopy. Early season snow at higher elevations. While the lower Quinault Valley is typically rainy, elevations above 2,000 or 3,000 feet can receive wet snow, slush, and overnight frost and ice. And there's really no cell service. The Enchanted Valley corridor has no reliable cell coverage. You can get it a little bit here and there, but it's not reliable. And the backcountry is very isolated. There's no alternative exit routes, through roads, long distances between camps, and slow SAR access due to the terrain and weather. So there is no quick access if you do go missing. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about Laura.
Yeah, so full name is Laura Ann Macke. Date of birth was not publicly listed, so I don't have that. Dates she went missing, so she was last seen on October 30th of 2022. She was reported missing November 2nd of 2022. She was a female, age 35. She was 5'6", 200 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. There were no known distinguishing tattoos on her body. Clothing and gear she was last seen in, so black and white striped shirt, black rain jacket, maroon puffy jacket, backpack with multi-day gear. Family also noted in posts they made that she used a green Nemo tent, though it's unclear if she deployed it before she went missing. Personality-wise, she was known to be very kind and thoughtful, deeply connected to the outdoors. She loved her work. She was described as compassionate and committed to helping others. She was adventurous but cautious and well-prepared. And you'll see when I get into the timeline, this person was... she followed everything we tell people to do when you go hiking. So
yeah, she knew what she was doing. Yes,
all of the things. Well, I'll get into it in the timeline, but it's very unusual for these cases that we have a subject who, followed our rules. So,
well, and it goes to show you just how dangerous the wilderness can be. Yeah, like people, and I'll be honest, I take it for granted too, especially when I'm in more of a heavily trafficked area.
Yeah.
I kind of go nonchalantly sometimes into the woods.
But a lot of these cases, it comes down to poor timing with weather, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely.
One thing I'll say about all the different places I've hiked and probably you've hiked, we've always planned our hiking trips for the best time of the year for that area.
Yes, like where you less likely to run into terrible
We're
scenarios.
not hiking in, the Rockies in January. We're
Yes.
not hiking in Canyonlands in July. Like,
Except for you that one time?
no, that was late September.
Okay. And even then.
So, I mean, part of it does come down to doing your research where you're going and making sure you're hiking at the proper time. Because a lot of these places, if you hike when, you hike an Olympic when it's kind of dry out, like, when you did it, Joe, a lot of these hazards we talked about are not a problem. But if you hike when they're getting 3 feet of rain, now you've got a serious problem on your hands.
Yeah.
So, like I said, she was known as adventurous but cautious and well-prepared. She viewed the forest as a place of healing and peace. She enjoyed challenging hikes and intentional time outdoors. Medical issues, no known medical conditions were available publicly, and there were no indications of physical limitations or chronic health risks. So from all the research I did, she appeared, very healthy. So nothing that would, cause the disappearance as far as medical related issues. Occupation and hobby, she was a licensed drug and alcohol counselor and had recently started her own counseling practice. Hobbies, like I said, very into the outdoors, hiking, solo backpacking, winter camping, long distance trails. She completed large sections of the Long Trail. So that's goes up into Canada on the East Coast, 273 miles. She practiced winter camping in New Hampshire. And she understood storm preparation and backcountry safety. So for all intents and purposes, she was a very experienced hiker that had a lot of experience hiking and camping in different conditions, not just your typical weekend warrior out there in the park.
Yeah, I feel like she would have been very much prepared for what she was getting into.
Though heavy rain is a different beast.
Yeah.
That you can have all the best rain gear in the world, and if it's heavy enough and windy enough, you're going to get soaked.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
Mm-hmm.
Experience in this location, she did not have any experience in Olympic National Park. This was pretty much her first visit to the park, and she chose Enchanted Valley because it was challenging but not extreme. And family had said that she had planned and prepared for months for this trip. So quickly, what are we looking at here?
So on a Facebook page where there's just pictures of her, remembrances. There's people sharing video of some of the trails, and it looks like it's snowing in this area. This was posted on like a year later.
Yeah.
But I think it's like that kind of the area she was in to give you an idea
there's
of
Pony Bridge.
Yeah, how lush it is.
Yeah.
And how thick it is. And
looks like the bridge is under repair.
Yeah.
And I mean, that gives you a good, look how thick.
It's so beautiful. But
yeah, it is beautiful.
But yeah, imagine searching for someone in all this.
And it's rugged. I mean,
it's very rugged.
You don't think of Olympic. It's not like Alpine, like the Rockies are, but it's still really rugged. I mean, look at that.
It looks like it's snowing in a rainforest.
Yeah.
Like it literally does. That's pretty wild.
So let's just jump right into the timeline here. So I'm going to give you a little kind of pre-trip background. So this is months before her October disappearance. She was living in Vermont, like I said, where she worked for years as a drug and alcohol counselor before starting her own private counseling practice, which her family said she absolutely loved doing. Her brother-in-law told local media that she came to Olympic National Park specifically to hike the Enchanted Valley Trail. She wanted a vacation, a new place to hike, and a route that was challenging yet not insane, according to her. She had been planning this hike for months with the goal of hiking to Enchanted Valley, Enchanted Campground, and back. And this is where I go into how prepared she was. So according to National Park records, she got her backcountry permit for October 30th to the 31st. She had told the Park Service that she was doing a solo trip. She told them her intended route, so Graves Creek Trailhead to Pyrites Creek and then to Enchanted Valley. She planned to camp the night of the 30th at Pyretes Creek, and she planned to exit on October 31st. She told both the Park Service and her family that she expected to still be in the backcountry on November 1st, essentially allowing for a third day in the valley before hiking out. And like I said, the plan, and this is all documented by the Park Service, 2 nights out, hiking back on the third day. So day 1, hike into camp. Day 2, time in the valley. Day 3, hike out. So it's now Sunday, October 30th of 2022, and she drives to the Quinault Graves Creek area and parks her rented white 2021 Kia sedan at Graves Creek Trailhead. We have notes from the National Park Service that she is presumed to have entered the backcountry on the 30th along the Enchanted Valley Trail. And I covered her intended route. Multiple media sources noted that a significant rainstorm began on the 30th with heavy rain and cold conditions. And for those of you just listening, Joe has the path up on All Trails, and we're kind of following it.
Yeah, it's giving us elevation gain over distance right now.
And it kind of, a lot of these trails follow little creeks in valleys in Olympic, and this is one of them. I mean, look at the surrounding terrain.
Yeah, like there's no getting helicopters in there to land. I mean, you can fly by overhead. You're not going to see anything. So, I mean, any type of rescue they're hiking in the same path. I mean, we said that in the beginning, but yeah, if you get injured or get lost, 10, 15, 20 miles into this, they're going to have to hike that same distance to get to you and then bring you out.
Yeah. And you got to imagine too, that during heavy rain, a lot of this valley is going to be, the creek is going to swell.
Oh yeah. And I remember going through there because we were, again, low water.
Yeah.
And you could see in some of the edges, you see where the water level has been.
Yeah.
And it's like
kind of like in Zion.
Yeah, it's like 10 or 15 feet higher than what you'd imagine. It's like, holy cow, and it's a deluge of water. This is how high it gets in there. So,
and you think in high water in this area, there's not going to be a lot of areas where you're going to be able to get out of that flood zone.
Yeah, you're in a big funnel.
And, there's creeks that are feeding into the Quinault River here, which this trail follows. There's Pyretes Camp.
Yep.
That's where she was supposed to stay. And here's a lot of the locations that Joe mentioned right away in the beginning of the episode, kind of key points. O'Neill Creek. We've got, let's see.
Fire Creek Campground up there.
Pony Bridge Camp.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it looks like a great hike.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's honestly, the campgrounds are like really well spaced.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, what was it, 3 days she wanted to do this in?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like a wonderful hike.
Yeah,
3 days to do this. It's not too intense.
22 miles with an elevation gain of 2,700 feet is easily doable.
In 3 days?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like a really nice hike. That's like
I wouldn't do this in October.
I wouldn't do it in October. I probably wouldn't do it by myself.
I would do it in July.
Yeah.
The drier season. But, I mean, look how many little creeks funnel into there.
Yeah. Look, that is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That is so wild.
So, like I said, a common occurrence in all these cases we talk about is, unfortunately, our subjects go out hiking in the worst conditions. So, in this specific scenario, there was a really bad storm coming in with heavy rain and cold conditions. Social media posts quoted local hikers from the time mentioning NOAA advisories for snow in the Quinault region and extremely wet, cold conditions, especially at night. Now, very interesting note here is there were no public records of anyone definitively seeing Laura on the trail. So her presence on the trail is inferred by the Park Service because of her car, where it was parked, and the permit that she pulled. A lot of times in these cases, there'll be a sighting of the person before they went missing somewhere along the trail. But in this case, there was no sighting of her on the trail. So we have to presume, based on the evidence, that she did make it out there onto the trail. It's now Monday, October 31st of 2022. This is the exit date listed on her permit. But both family and friends and the NPS, like I had said, stated that she intended to stay out there for one more day. So failing to exit on the 31st was not considered abnormal. Weather very bad still. Later reports described multiple days of rain, some snow in the higher areas, and temperatures near freezing at Lake Quinault and below freezing higher in Enchanted Valley area. So
this was October 2nd. Oh, it's 2023. 22. So here's someone who went hiking. She posted this on the 23rd, but she was there that year on September 30th and October 1st. I wish she had pictures so I could see. The rest have been... So, like, there must not have been a ton of rain. She said there were some dried up waterfalls.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was in the area and it didn't... Or Daniel. Yeah, it sounded like it was great then. So she must have just been in, like, literally in the worst time. Like, the perfect storm hit.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, when you hike in this part of the season, that you could have a few weeks of really great conditions and then just get walloped by a storm coming off the Pacific.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what happened during her hike. It's now Tuesday, November 1st of 2022. Like I had said earlier, this was the day that she had told everyone she was going to be coming out. And officials still thought she might be out there, though she was now overdue. There are no known calls, messages, or sightings from Laura after she entered the backcountry. And so we're, like I said, presuming she went in there and never came out. It's Wednesday, November 2nd of 2022. The overdue report was filed at 10 a.m., and this was according to Olympic National Park's official release. Law enforcement pretty quickly located her rental car at Graves Creek Trailhead and confirmed that she did not drive to the trailhead as planned. So she was reported overdue Thursday morning based on the press release, but the primary MPS page and local coverage clearly date that the initial report was Wednesday, November 2nd. So there's a little confliction in the date of when she was reported overdue. So Thursday, November 3rd of 2022, this would be the first active day of search and rescue operations. Official reports noted that search and rescue personnel hiked into the wilderness on Thursday to begin a hasty search of the route from Graves Creek towards Enchanted Valley. U.S. Coast Guard helicopter conducted a preliminary aerial search, but it was impeded by challenging weather, so they had low ceilings and lots of rain. Obviously, this is another occurrence in all of the cases we cover. The aerial searching is usually very difficult to do because of the weather conditions. And early on, the focus for search and rescue was the maintained trail to Enchanted Valley, campsites along the route, and the river corridor where accidents are pretty typical in this area. It's now Friday, November 4th of 2022. SAR teams are now checking camping areas along the route to Enchanted Valley, and we're expected to remain in the backcountry for 2 nights. Megan Huff, the park PIO, later confirmed that 19 searchers were deployed on that Friday, and the hasty teams had already been out since Thursday. Helicopter support continued this day when the weather permitted, but poor weather remained a major factor throughout this entire search for aerial searching. And we had an MPS release at that time just stating search underway for missing hiker, and that was released on November 3rd. It's now Saturday, November 5th of 2022. The search continued Saturday afternoon. Teams had hiked in and begun checking, like I said, campsites, and they were planning to stay out there for a few nights. Local media reports at the time, again, stated there were 19 people out there searching. This included the agency's King County Explorers, SAR, Olympic Mountain Rescue, Tacoma Mountain Rescue, Mason County Search and Rescue, and Jefferson County Search and Rescue. And this is interesting. So the park's Facebook post asked, so the park had gotten an anonymous tip on November 3rd, and the park was really, they posted on Facebook that they really wanted that person to try and contact them again, and they considered the tip potentially significant. But the tip, what was tipped off, was never publicly released, so we don't know what that person shared with the Park Service.
Really?
But they were never able to get a hold of that person again. So it is now Sunday, November 6th of 2022. There's canine teams out in the field now. They had some helicopters with some thermal imaging capability. They had a boat crew, and there were 18 members on the ground working that day. And up to this point, the only physical evidence they found that she was even in the area was the rental car at Graves Creek Trailhead. So they have found nothing, not a single trace of her anywhere. And we had a social media post from her two sisters, her brother-in-law and her long-term boyfriend, that they gathered at her parents' house near Vancouver, Washington, to be close to the park and the search. The boyfriend is quoted as saying the forest is healing for her. It's at this time that the family creates the Laura Macke Search and Rescue Facebook group as a coordination hub for information and volunteers. And that group is still out there today. You can go visit that and see. There's a post just on October 29th, I believe, of this year.
Yep. Yeah, that's of this year.
Yeah. So they're still active, and I'm sure, this case isn't that old, so they're still holding out hope that her remains are someday found. It's now Monday, November 7th of 2022. Local media summarized the search operations as ongoing at this time. The ground searchers were staying overnight in Enchanted Valley. Canine teams, they had drones out there now that also had thermal infrared capability that were scanning the river and shore areas, and boats and helicopters when weather allowed.
Someone just asked in March if there's going to be more searches, and it looks like, I'm guessing a family member, it's got the same last name, said the road that leads to the trailhead is washed out. The damage looks to be severe. It is about 5 miles on foot to get to the trailhead. There is no timetable or funds at this time for repairs. So now, as of March, just to get to the trailhead was a 5-mile walk.
Yeah, you can't
that's
even
how
drive
remote
up
this
there.
that's how remote this place is.
Yeah, so we have a lot of social media posts from family and brothers and sisters. They had posted that 2 national park rangers hiked up to Enchanted Valley on that Thursday. That one SAR crew overnighted in Enchanted Valley and then hiked out while searching on Monday. Another crew hiked up to Enchanted Valley that day. They mentioned that a drone with infrared was used to scan the river and shore. They said canine units had been deployed at least once but found nothing, which that is not too shocking with the amount of rain in the area.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to wash away a lot of scent if it's really heavy rain. And all of these points were from social media posts from family and friends on Facebook. And there's also a really good Web Sleuths thread where a lot of the family was posting updates.
Mm-hmm.
It's now Tuesday, November 8th of 2022. Local media now is reporting or noting that the area experienced rain and snow with temperatures near freezing and below freezing in the search area. This was hampering drone and helicopter use on most days. An update also stated that on Tuesday, November 8th, helicopters were able to fly 2 missions when there was a brief window in the weather. Some search days were also curtailed because the trail was flooded and trees were down, making it unsafe. So Joe just talked about how the whole road got washed out. So you can see the weather was bad enough that they had to call off the search for one of the days. Okay, now you're looking at a video of Quinault River Gorge.
Yeah, it's kayakers going down. It shows kind of how, look at like all the log jams.
Yeah.
Like you can get trapped up in there. It seems pretty dangerous.
That seems pretty cool, too.
It looks awesome, yeah.
I don't know my river rafting classes well enough. What is that? Do you know?
I have no idea. Let's see what it says.
They say?
No.
No.
Look at I think they're climbing up over a log jam.
You got to know what you're doing.
You got to know what you're doing. That's like, I'll see if any comments make any assumptions. So this was on a post, and I won't get into what it said on the post, but it was just an idea to show like how treacherous it can be.
Yeah.
So
if you were to fall in it.
It's so beautiful.
I know.
Look at that.
And this wasn't even a part of the park I hiked in. I hiked more near the coast, which was also beautiful, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks amazing.
I'll let it roll in the background. If anything interesting happens, I'll
So like I said, the weather got bad enough that they had to curtail some of the search operations a couple days just because trails were flooded and trees were down. Search and rescue appeared to have prioritized the river corridor and creek crossings early, treating river at, this is because they know a lot of the accidents happen around the river crossings. That's kind of a common area where people get hurt. So that does make sense to search those areas. It's Wednesday, November 9th of 2022. So the large multi-agency search is continuing with, a lot of people on the ground. Like I said, we've got Mount Rainier National Park, multiple county search and rescue teams, Olympic Mountain Rescue, Tacoma Mountain Rescue, the Coast Guard, U.S. Customs Border Protection, Air Marine Operations, U.S. Navy Search and Rescue is involved, and numerous canine units were all in on the search by this time. So pretty, as far as manpower goes on the ground, it's not one of the larger searches we've seen, but there's a lot of agencies involved. You've got, the Coast Guard, you've got the U.S. Navy.
Well, when you think about it, when we're looking at the map, there's not a really wide search area. It's very narrow.
Yeah.
So, too many people, you really aren't going to get much more bang for your buck than...
Yeah,
there's one trail going along the river.
The trail you showed, how many searchers could you fit in there?
Exactly.
Doing a grid search. There wasn't that much you could search.
Yeah.
So, 7 days in, we've got no clothing found, no gear found, no remains found. The only, like I said, physical evidence was found was a rental car. So this was very perplexing to searchers that despite an intensive search, they found no signs of her, as if she wasn't even in the park. And again, park officials were strongly hoping that the person who left, it was an anonymous caller, that they would call back and speak with the Park Service, but they never did, which is kind of strange. I don't know why you would call once, then never call back unless you were maybe doing a prank or
it is odd.
You're BSing. And like I said, the weather was absolutely just awful during the entire search. You had rain, snow, wind, made operations difficult, especially for aerial and canine searchers. Now, this is very interesting, what I'm about to say, and I've never heard of this before.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay, I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
So her sister stated that her phone was being sent a military-grade SOS ping once per day. So the system does not require cell service, but does require the phone to be powered on with remaining battery and allows a simple screen interaction to send back GPS coordinates within 35 feet. And at the time of when this was posted, there had been no hits. No hits had been received, suggesting her phone was either off, dead, or not reachable.
I've never heard of this.
I have never heard of this either. It's never been used in a case we've covered.
All right.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, let's see how it works. SARN, S-A-R-N, which is Search and Rescue Network. Rescuers in a helicopter activate a system that creates a temporary cell network. Phone pings, your phone detecting this network, tries to connect, sending out a signal or ping to the helicopter system. The SARN intercepts this ping, uses it to get your precise location, and sends that info to the rescue team, narrowing the search. Once connected, you might see signal bars allowing you to make emergency calls or send messages directly to the rescue team. What you might see or experience: temporary signal. Your phone might briefly show signal bars or show SOS in the status bar when it's connected to the SARN. You may get alerts or see notifications about the connection. Your phone automatically sends your location and other info like photos, audio on some Androids to preset emergency contacts. See why it's good to have an Android, not an Apple phone, just saying that.
Well, Apple phone now has satellite messaging.
Yeah, mine's got that. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So when military or SAR teams use the SOS ping, they're actively communicating with your phone to find you, not just you triggering a general SOS. Features like Apple's emergency SOS via satellite or Android's emergency SOS. So that's really cool. They create a tiny cell network to directly communicate
in the
with
helicopter, and then they send a ping and they just automatically can get your location.
That's really cool.
So
yeah, I guess because if they're moving around, they can triangulate through their motion on if they're receiving the ping back and forth.
Well, or they're using the GPS on the phone
to
calculate the coordinates. The sad part is this tells us that her phone was either off, damaged, or not in the park.
Yeah.
So, another reason why you bring your phone, even if there's no cell service. I always would bring my phone with some battery packs to keep it charged because I wanted to take pictures.
I want to take pictures, and you always have. I've been on the top of a mountain, and then all of a sudden I'll get like a signal.
I always joke with people, the place where I used to live, which was an urban area around where our studio is, I got better cell phone reception on the top of Mount Rainier than I did at my house, which was baffling to me.
Well, it's all lead paint.
Yeah, it's an old house. But so besides just, phones take great pictures, this is another reason why you should have your phone with. And I guess logically should have thought they had this capability, but we've never covered a case where they've used this.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So that's really cool that they can do that. So I just thought that was kind of cool, a little nerdy. But
yeah, I've never heard of that before. That's really awesome.
Yeah, so it's now Thursday, November 8th of 2022. This is when the search was sadly moved into a limited and continuous operation. This sadly happens with every search. There's finite resources. They can't search forever. And with conditions the way they were, they're putting searchers' lives in danger out there in conditions like this. The helicopters are flying. They have very brief windows they can get up and do search operations. And you got to imagine in a mountainous area like this, there's going to be lots of wind and turbulence, and it just puts everyone's lives in danger. And obviously these searchers do it. They don't, that Joe and I always say every episode that the people that do these search and rescue operations are amazing. Like, it's amazing. People that don't know you will go out and risk their lives to find you.
Yep.
You could be the world's biggest jerk, and it doesn't matter. They're going to go out and look for you.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It's awesome that
people like that on the planet.
It's cool that people do that.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, the large-scale active search was ending. Searchers would continue intermittently as weather, environmental conditions, and other factors allowed. The official search lasted for about 7 days. Roughly 15 state and government agencies were involved in the search, and sadly it was ended due to weather. MPS gave a final update on November 11th, kind of summarizing information about Laura and kind of what happened during the search and rescue operation. After the search and rescue operation was concluded, family statements shared, in the Laura search and rescue group that it concluded and survivability was not expected. This was consistent with the shift to a limited search status. And the MPS Investigative Services Branch, known as ISB, continues to accept tips and maintains the case is open and unresolved to this day. From March 24th to 25th of 2023, Laura's father and sister organized a volunteer search. They met at 8 a.m. at Graves Creek Trailhead on both days. Their focus was between Pony Bridge and Fire Creek. They chose this time because they figured ground cover would be shorter, the snow would be receding, and river levels would be lower, which could help maybe find some of her gear or maybe her remains.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest things that we don't know from this case is we don't know her last known point on the trail, which is a real negative because it does, searchers know where her car was, but this, as Joe is showing these maps and trails, it's a massive area, very rugged, and not having an exact location of where it would have been great if a hiker had seen her walking in one of the trailheads, because searchers would for sure know, okay, she was here at some point, but we sadly don't know exactly where she might have gone. What do you got for us, Joe? Breaking news.
Breaking news. So there's a post, and this hasn't been quantified because I was just digging through the search and rescue. The Fowler O'Sullivan Foundation said they posted their, with the family's permission, providing information that on 8/15 of 23, some evidence has been washed down from the Quinault River. Laura's sister wrote that a piece of tent matching the color and brand of Laura's tent was found downstream of where her tent fly was located in the fall of 22. And Laura's shirt, pictured below, was also washed down the Quinault River. And that's where we got the video for where the kayakers are. So there was a picture of a shirt that matches that.
That's interesting.
Has been washed down.
And that's
look at that.
There's the shirt she's in.
It's literally, and that's a unique shirt.
Yeah.
That's literally.
Okay, so, and when was that stuff found?
So it said the tent fly was found in fall of 22, and the shirt was in 8/15 of 23. This was posted on June 2nd of 2024.
So the tent fly, that could be anybody's.
That could be anybody's. That shirt is pretty unique, though.
That shirt is pretty unique. So obviously this was all found. Well, the tent fly didn't come up in my research for the search and rescue, maybe because it's not verifiably.
Yeah, it's a post on the Facebook group.
It could be hers. It might not be.
Yeah.
That shirt, that looks like hers.
That looks like hers. You can even see the little reflection on the arm.
That's a unique shirt. That's not just like
I've never
a
seen
Nike t-shirt.
Yeah, I've never seen a shirt like this. And they said she hiked in that all the time. That was
Yeah.
like her hiking shirt. And I get that. I've got a couple shirts that like
Yeah.
I always wear.
There was a shirt I would wear every hiking trip, and if you'd found that with like a bone in it, just assume it was me.
Yeah.
Like, because like half the pictures of me hiking are in that shirt.
That's what I have. I have like one of the Bear Grylls button downs.
Yeah.
Like it's one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is totally looks like hers. So
Okay, so that's.
I'm not even showing the screen. Duh. Here
Have
we go.
you been showing it at all? This.
No, because I didn't want him to read before that.
Oh, gotcha.
But when I was showing the other stuff, I was, yes. I turned it off before so no one would read it.
That is what you get with our podcast. Live breaking news.
Yeah.
While I was about to say nothing was found.
That's why I wrote it in there real quick. I was typing frantically. I was like, actually.
That is very interesting. I'm going to adjust my theories.
It doesn't look too damaged. There's a couple holes in it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been out there for a few years.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it looks pretty well preserved.
Interesting. Okay, so we found a tent fly and a piece of tent
Yeah,
that.
I'm not going to share anymore because they have their theories here too.
Okay, so
that's kind of what I was thinking.
just to recap, the official search didn't state anything was found, and I'm guessing the tent fly may have been found after the search ended. The search.
Oh yeah, it was like years later.
Well, 22. It
or
said.
year later.
She went missing in 2022. It said
really?
fall of 22.
Oh yeah, it did.
But fall, that includes late November, right? That's still fall.
Yeah.
My guess is the tent fly, which I don't know that you could theoretically verify if that was hers or not. It could be someone else's tent, but that shirt was found in 2023 and they posted that in 2024. That is her shirt.
Yeah.
I think there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I would also agree. I think that's definitely hers. I'm
Yeah.
not showing the screen anymore. I'm reading the comments.
So, okay, there was some physical evidence. So there was no physical evidence found at the time of the search. So footprints, camp remnants, gear. Okay, so did you write that other part or did I add that? Did
I just put
you just put the capital letters?
yeah.
Okay. So I guess I didn't read far enough into my own research.
Well, this is a random post on their
Well,
page
I
that I've
did
been
have
scrolling
in
through.
here that items were washed out that meet the criteria for items she may have had. So
Yeah, I mean, and that's true.
yeah,
Can never be confirmed unless they found like a bone fragment and they did a DNA analysis or whatever. So like technically,
I would say
a tent fly that's green. I've seen 1,000 of them.
yeah. I'm not the tent stuff.
But that shirt is very.
That
I would-
shirt.
I would
So
give
she
that-
was hiking there, and
Yeah.
then someone else just happened to randomly go missing, lose their shirt, and then they find it.
Yeah,
Like-
or just lose that shirt specifically in that time frame.
That's a very unique shirt.
That's a very unique shirt. I agree.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'll put this back up, which is the side by side.
that's definitely her shirt.
Yeah,
I think there's no doubt about it. What would the odds be of that same shirt being found in the
Very-
area where she went missing?
very low.
Very low.
Yeah.
So now the question remains, all right, you found the shirt. Where's all the other gear? So very interesting. You dropped a little breaking news bomb on
I know
me.
that's yeah. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
So what are your theories?
Okay. Well, most
Everything's changed.
no, nothing changed. I think this just solidifies the most likely theory. So I had the most likely theory is accidental injury followed by exposure, hypothermia. So the theory goes, Laura is injured on or near the trail and is unable to continue. With heavy rain, snow, and near freezing temperatures, hypothermia sets in quickly. This fits this case because we had a significant rainstorm that came in on October 30th, the day she entered the backcountry. Temperatures were near freezing at the Lake Quinault and below freezing at higher elevations of the search area. Her permit indicated she was still expected to be out on November 1st, meaning she would have been in the storm for multiple days. Sadly, most media outlets, local media outlets, presumed she had died, passed away out there from the exposure element of this. And this trail, the trail she would have been on, would have contained, slick roots, steep eroded sections, and side slopes where, just even a minor slip can result in a disabling injury. And this all aligns with, storm timing, terrain, and the complete lack of communication or return. It also explains why she was not located during the early search and rescue if she had been immobile and off the trail. So, and adding in the hypothermia element to it, the fact that they found that shirt, maybe she was doing, the paradoxical undressing and taking items of clothing off.
Potentially, yeah.
Because the shirt didn't look very damaged.
No.
I don't want to get too graphic, but you got to imagine if someone passes away out there and their clothing is on them as, nature takes a hold, that clothing is going to get discolored. Animals are going to scavenge and it's going to be more torn up. That shirt looked pretty clean.
Yeah.
And there was only a couple holes in it.
Yeah, there was a couple holes, and it looked like... I'll pull that back up. A couple holes, and it looked like the zipper was separating from the...
Yeah.
But, that's not crazy.
But that doesn't look like an article of clothing that was with the remains.
Yeah, see, this is the zipper. I don't know what they call that. It's the two pieces of fabric that the zipper trail goes on. It's separating from the rest of the shirt. It zips up the middle. But yeah, there's a hole there, and it's in pretty good shape.
There's no discoloration on it.
Yeah.
There's no signs of animal scavenging on it. I mean, it looks pretty well preserved.
Yeah, there's no blood stains.
There's no blood. So now granted, it maybe over time those stains would fade, but I mean, it looks pretty clean. You would, maybe if someone had a traumatic injury, if you had, broken arm and the bone came through the skin, you would have a lot of blood stains.
I really feel like the stuff that's wrong with it is what would happen if your shirt washed down a really violent river.
Yeah, and it got stuck on some sticks and branches.
Yeah, and washed out.
Yeah, that looks pretty.
That is my completely uneducated opinion. That is not based on anything
for being
that
out there in, that was found in 2023, so a full year out in the wilderness. So, interesting. Next, likely...
my kids leave shoes outside that look worse than this.
Yeah.
Just in our lawn through a couple storms.
Yeah. So the next logical theory is a river or creek accident. So the theory goes Laura slips into the East Fork Quinault River or a tributary during high water and is swept downstream. This fits very well with this case because of the storm-driven rainfall significantly raises water levels. This would make riverbanks very slick and crossings hazardous. This also is in line with how the search and rescue were going about their operation. They deployed boats and drones along the river corridor, which indicated a concern for a water-related incident. And this river, from the videos Joe is showing, it contains lots of log jams, undercut banks, and deep channels that could conceal remains for a long period of time. So I think now that we found this shirt and, possibly tent fragments washing up, this is a very likely scenario. Another theory, off-route travel into steep, dense timber, followed by exposure. So this theory goes, she leaves the maintained trail intentionally or unintentionally and enters steep brush-filled terrain that is difficult to search and survive. This fits with this case. The Enchanted Valley corridor has very thick vegetation, slippery slopes, drainage gullies where visibility from the trail or air would be very limited. And SAR teams did search both trail and off-trail areas, but it's so thick and you got blowdown and ravines. This all reduces the possibility of detection.
And she doesn't seem like the person who goes off trail.
No,
she's following all the rules. She's doing all the right things. So I don't really think that jives.
Yeah. Her family even described conditions including, downed trees, flooded sections, low visibility during the storm, which all align with this theory. So I think that's a real possible, less likely theories. I'll just briefly cover here. Sudden medical emergency. She seemed very fit, physically active. She's 35, no known medical conditions. I would imagine if she had some kind of chronic condition that would have come out during the search and rescue.
Somebody would have said something about it.
And we always say if you're hiking down the trail and you have a heart attack right on the trail, you're going to be found by search and rescue. I don't think a medical emergency happened. We always mention it, because it does happen, but intentional self-harm, I don't think this one is plausible in this case.
Mm-hmm.
She, family accounts describe her as engaged with work, passionate about hiking, excited about the trip. There were no behavioral indicators that would point into this direction. I just always mention it because our last case, the guy who went missing twice in Sand Dunes National Park, I think maybe if it wasn't intentional self-harm, it was something going on with him that caused him to go back there. But I don't think that's a possibility in this case. And finally, just foul play by an unknown person. And that's pretty logical. You can figure out how that theory goes, but it doesn't fit this case. Her vehicle didn't show any signs of disturbance or a break-in or unusual activities. There were no reports of suspicious individuals or vehicles in the area. The route is remote, but does not have a pattern of foul play in cases. So it's a pretty safe area to hike. And search and rescue teams found no physical, electronic, or situational evidence suggesting of a crime. So probably not. And that kind of weather, most people aren't going to be out there with a storm like that rolling in. So she probably was one of the reasons why no one saw her was there probably weren't
no one was there.
Anyone out there hiking.
Yeah.
I think logical theory for me, she got out there, river swelled, and she either maybe fell in, got out, got hypothermia, or she fell in and was, passed away in one of the rivers or creeks. That shirt, we know she was out there.
Yeah.
That's her shirt.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I feel like she fell and got swept by the river.
Yeah.
And she had all of her stuff with her. And so far, the only things that have been washed out had been the shirt and the tent fly or the tent piece. So I think with all those if there's that deluge of water and those valleys are so steep, so think about all that water just filtering right to that river. And it's probably super violent.
Yeah.
We watched the kayakers on a day where it was sunny and it was pretty violent. So you could imagine what it looks like when it's just swelled up, tons of water going.
Yeah.
I feel like she probably got in there, maybe had her backpack on and got caught in a strainer point or something.
And that's why search didn't find any of her gear.
Exactly.
Because it all went in with her.
That's why I thought maybe if they found stuff and if those tent site or the campsites, maybe rain could have pushed it in the river, but then you'd find other stuff.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like she had everything on her and potentially had a slip. And then if you slip and fall into that, with that much rain, you're not getting out of it.
Especially if you got a heavy pack on, because it said she was prepared for multi-day hike. So her pack probably was pretty heavy. That's going to act like an anchor in that kind of water.
Yeah, and if you're not in a river crossing, what if she slipped in when she was on the trail? It's going to be, buckled in everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you get injured on the way down or knocked out and you're attached to that thing, it's not going to be good. And I think that, to me, is the most plausible.
Yeah.
Something like that. Just because the only evidence we've seen has come out in the river.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's my theory.
I think it's a good theory.
Well, let us know what you think on our Facebook or Instagram. Thanks again for tuning into our show. We appreciate all of you for listening and sharing Locations Known with your friends and family and helping us get in the top 99% on Spotify. That is so awesome.
Thank you.
That's really, really cool. And how many million minutes of listening was it or something? It was
13 million minutes or 24 years straight.
Just this year. Thank you for spending 13 million minutes with us, cumulative. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and YouTube, where you can find videos of each episode. Also, if you want to support the show monetarily, please visit our website and Facebook store to buy some sweet swag. And you can also subscribe to our Patreon account, YouTube, Apple subscriptions, anywhere where you can pay for additional shows and hear special event, participate in special events, and hear about awesome new cases that we're not talking about just yet that we're about to record about ahead of everybody else for paid customers only. And lastly, when enjoying the beauty of nature, whether backpacking, camping, or simply taking a walk, always remember to leave no trace. Thanks. We will see you all next time.